Good afternoon to everybody joining us for what I know is going to be an incredible session about a real pain point for a lot of us in the Salesforce community, and that's reporting and analytics. So I think you've come to the right place. My name is Quentin Eyman. I'm just here to welcome you and to introduce our speaker. I'm going to be in charge of curating some questions for her at the end. Hopefully there'll be a little bit of time. If you do have questions about her session, please put it in the Q&A tab. You can put it in the chat if you want, but let's use chat just to communicate with each other. But for questions you have and you want me to ask our speaker when she's done, put it in the Q&A and I will do that. And she doesn't have a lot of time, so I'll stop talking. Let me turn it over now to Xaviera Stewart from Jessup University to talk about reporting and analytics. Xaviera, it's all you.
All right, thank you for that. And let me get my slides up here. So thank you all for coming. This is Report on Anything, how Jessup University unlocked its analytics. And like he said, I am Jessup Stewart from Jessup University, and a little bit of information about Jessup. First, real quick, we are a private higher ed institution about 30 minutes past Sacramento, California. We are a relatively small school, but we do have 3 locations. We've got our Rockland location as our main campus, and then we have our satellite campus in San Jose, and then we just recently have a satellite campus in Portland, which was actually Multnomah University. We have about 1,200 students as our overall student population between the 3 campuses as well as online. So we are a relatively small school. But with all of that, we have been able to look into some of our data silo issues, especially around event data. That's been our biggest driver for all of this. And then how we are planning on tackling it with student success, financial aid, as well as with specifically our recruiting that we are doing as we are now expanding even more as we have another campus. So a little bit about me and what we're going over. We have a relatively small Salesforce org. We only have about 147 users across our 3 campuses. We've only been in Salesforce for about 3 years now. So our biggest thing, like I explained, is we have tons of data. A lot of our leadership at Jessup believes that more data is better, and so trying to collect as much as possible. But the problem with that is we're able to collect a whole lot of data, but we weren't able to answer a lot of our questions about that data. So be that whether it's revenue about our events, what students are matriculating from any events that we are hosting, whether that is on campus or off campus, as well as trying to look into what issues we're running into with financial aid, what might be the cause of students deciding to leave late into and melt rather quick, close to the term starting, as well as what kind of information we have about students meeting with their success coaches and being able to get the support that they need. So biggest example we have is our event data. So just this past October, we had our fall preview day, and it was our largest one yet and our most successful one. And we ended up with 735 attendees total on campus, which is amazing given our 1,200 total student body. And these events do focus mainly around our traditional undergraduate population. And so we had about 735 people on campus specifically with interest in our traditional undergraduate population. We've got amazing admissions data. We currently have about 5,726 students in our fall 25 funnel for our traditional undergraduate program. Of course, we all know just because there's that many people in the funnel does not mean we're going to get that many students in the door when the semester starts. But the event that we just had was targeting specifically this fall 25 funnel. And so we had some really good data about all of that and that turnout, as well as the students currently in our funnel for those who did attend and those who didn't. But we weren't really able to connect the two, as well as with that, some of those questions that we have is who applied at preview day. We have a lot of we have a lot going on where we try and get students to apply. We offer scholarships if they're willing to apply on the spot and then confirm as well. We offer them some scholarships because we can accept them right then and there if they bring their transcripts. And so we're trying to figure out, is that really worthwhile, since we've extended the time of our event and really extended some of what we're doing on campus and spread our people out a lot. But one of our big questions is, are we getting revenue from those events? For Preview Day, we host about 2 preview days a year right now. We are considering expanding that. But in order to consider expanding that, we need to be able to answer these questions. So we need to be able to answer, with that $34,000 we have annually to spend on Preview Day, are we getting any revenue from that? Are we getting students in the door? Are we getting them to apply and confirm and start classes? So part of why that's a big deal is we have held about 600 different events this calendar year. So just in 2024, that is all of our on-campus events. That is all of our recruiting efforts, where we are going to high schools, where we are going to different churches in the area, where we're going to college fairs, different things like that. So we've done over 600 of them. And so that kind of brings us back to this question of, are we getting our revenue, or are we just sending people to Hawaii for no reason? We actually did send some of our recruiters out to Hawaii this year. So we want to know, are we getting our money's worth for sending them that far, especially with our campus in Portland now, as we are trying to expand that campus, needing to know, is our efforts worthwhile as we are focusing on our Portland campus and that we are trying to recruit out there in Oregon and in Washington. And so initially, all we had, I'm sure you're all familiar with this image, we had some reports. This is a photo from one of our old events that we did a couple years ago, one of our Preview Day events, where we could see the student stage that the student is currently at. So we're able to see, the ones that canceled and didn't and decided to not come. We're able to see some of that of, okay, these canceled and didn't come to the event. We're able to see how many people confirmed and decided to come, the total number of guests. But that's about all of the information we have about these events in these just general reports. However, we started using Kona Search. This is one of our current existing search pages that we have. And one of the cool things about Kona Search is that you can actually work with their team and build search pages for any object that you have in your Salesforce org. Some of the existing ones we have right now is our student search page. This one in particular is for our events. We also are working on building out some for specific to some of the analysis that's going to be done on our recruiting events, and then working on finalizing our page for whether students are meeting with their success coaches and actually having those meetings. We try and have our students meet with their success coach before they actually get registered for classes to make sure we're registering them for the right class. But if they aren't having those meetings, and also trying to figure out, is that because the student isn't responding, or is that due to issues with our success coaches? So trying to figure some of that out. So we have a lot of different pages that are saved, and we're allowed to have any of our users save that search, a specific one, and go back and look at it. If we have one that's set up where we want, for example, if one of our recruiters, maybe Isaiah, is wanting to see specifically his students that have attended events or who have registered for events, so he knows who specifically to be looking out for when he's helping out with check-in, he can have a saved page that he can look for in his navigation bar that would let him know, oh, these are all of the students that I'm looking for this. So it is really nice. And in here, we're able to see a little more information, specifically the type of the event, the category of the event, the number of students that attended, the registered attendees, the total number confirmed, including guests. If I go back a slide real quick, you'll see here that we have to add the numbers up here ourselves in order to get a total number of guests, whereas thanks to Kona, they've done that for us. I know that math is relatively easy, but this is nice because we're able to give this to our leadership. So I'm able to give a Kona search page specifically to our VP of enrollment and be able to show her. It's that way she knows at a glance real quick, oh, this is how many people we had on campus, rather than her struggling to try and find that information. So like I said, we're going to be trying to dig deeper into our success coach data, into our financial aid data, as well as we now have someone in a position to truly analyze our recruiting efforts and whether we are sending our recruiters to the right places and to the right events. Are we going to things where we're going to get a lot of students, or are we actually continuously sending someone to an event that we've only ever gotten 1 or 2 students even requesting information from us, or maybe we're walking away with none, but we keep sending them back there over and over again. So we've now got someone to be able to analyze that data. So real quick, what's next for Jessup? Like I said, using Kona to target some of our recruiting efforts. We are currently in the process of an education cloud implementation. We currently use TargetX, and so we are very excited to move towards education cloud. We are also in the middle of a marketing cloud implementation. We are switching from account engagement to marketing cloud connected with our education cloud org. We're also doing a new financial aid management system implementation. And then we're also looking for a new student information system. We are hoping to be able to eventually use Salesforce as our SIS. However, right now we are continuing to do some searches. So that is all that I have for you guys today. And I'm now willing to open up for questions.
Awesome, Xaviera. That's really terrific. You and I had talked about this earlier in the week, just to throw a question after. I know you are the lone CRM administrator, builder, architect. You are CRM at Jessup. What was the timeline for this to get the level of depth that you seem to be getting with Kona Search and in being able to kind of cross-reference these events? Was it an easy implementation, or did it take a while?
It was actually very easy and quick implementation for us. Kona really partnered with us. Like I said, we had a lot of this data ahead of time, so it wasn't trying to capture the data. It was instead trying to analyze it. And so we worked with Kona, and we had a lot of scheduled meetings with them about once a week for a little bit, for about a month, and where we were sending them, hey, this is what we're looking for. And then they'd come back and be like, hey, these are the edits that we've made. Is this matching what you're wanting? And so we were doing that for a little bit. And we do still have continued weekly stand-ups with Kona as we're continuing to build some of that out, as their developers have been willing to partner with us. So we've been meeting with them pretty consistently for a while, but as we're continuing to build all this out, but those initial events ones we were able to get information on pretty quickly.
As you had mentioned, you have 600 different events over the course of a year. Are all those events now being tracked with that data kind of coordinated and inside the CRM?
A lot, yes, all of them are. We're still working on end users, trying to get them to be willing to enter that data into Salesforce. As you mentioned, I am our only Salesforce admin, and so trying to put more on the end user and trying to get them to enter things has been a little bit of a struggle, but we're working that way. And so it is getting a lot better to have them enter all of that data, so that way we can analyze it better.
Are they pulling reports themselves, or is this all reports that you're providing to them?
Right now, it is all reports that I am providing. We have turned off reports for our end users just because we run into issues where people were adjusting reports that were being given to our president, and that was causing some issues.
Yes. You want reports from one source where we know the data is credible and the people know how they're pulling it appropriately. That does make a lot of sense. I know you said that the eventual goal is obviously to affect enrollment strategy, to affect where resources are going. Is there a plan for that already, even based on your just initial implementation of this and having proof of concept that it certainly seems to be working?
Yeah, I think there is some conversations that are happening above my head on some of that, where they are working on some of that strategy. Um, but I believe there is some, we're working on trying to expand, trying to have 2, maybe fall preview days, as we're seeing, we're expanding and having more people come to these events. And so really looking into, okay, now let's fully deep dive and really look into, cool, more people are coming, but are students coming in? So maybe as fall 25 starts and we're looking into that data, once that we know who has matriculated, then looking into, okay, maybe this year we do need to have 2, and those kinds of things.
What's your original vision, or I guess final vision, or maybe your executive leadership's final vision of all that? When you've moved from account engagement to marketing cloud, when you've got education cloud in place, are you looking to step out this reporting function for how students are doing in class? If it's student success, if it's beyond just straight enrollment?
Yeah, that is some of our plans, some of our strategy. We're starting first with enrollment, and then from there, we're trying to look into student success, engagement in the classrooms, those kinds of things, as well as success in some of our classes, trying to see, maybe we don't need to keep running this class because it's not being successful, those kinds of things.
Well, that's really terrific. I haven't seen any other questions in the Q&A. What there is? Okay, here's one from Devin. Do you have any plans to enable Salesforce Analytics, formerly Einstein Analytics, to assist with your current plan, or is Kona enough?
We currently are using, out of forms of Einstein and stuff, we currently have Einstein activity capture on specifically for our events, as well as some general emails to help with email capturing. But a lot of our team was not very happy with some of the results, especially since we do a lot of our leadership wasn't very happy with some of the results we were getting with formerly Einstein Analytics. We were running into some issues with that, but I do know that one of the things we're looking to do as we're moving towards Education Cloud is we are looking into trying to implement CRMA and looking into that.
That will be a step up for sure. I mean, yes. I know that I'll ask you the timeline question when you get to there, because that might take a little while to get up and running. But that's yes. Terrific. And thank you to Devin for that question. I don't see any other questions. So Xaviera, thank you so much for an awesome session. This again, it's a pain point we all experience one way or another, and you found a way in, which is awesome. Actually, yeah, CRMA Devin says that's what he meant, because sometimes we forget that Salesforce changes names on things quite frequently. So
yes,
the good news is I don't think Education Cloud is going to change names anytime soon. So that's a good deal. Thank you to Xaviera. Thank you for everybody for being here. Please stay tuned for the closing ceremony coming up at 4:45. Enjoy a couple of extra minutes before you get there. And thank you all for coming today for an awesome session from Xaviera. Take care, everybody. We'll see you.
Thank you.